Hey kid.
Hey guys, it's the Board Game Bully here with another review, and here we are going to be taking a look at Formula D. Seems to be everyone's go-to racing game. Played this one a couple of weeks ago. Let's pop it open, have a look how it plays, and then figure out what we think. Alright, so here we have the huge double board for Formula D. Now before we get into the board, we're going to look at how you create your character. So depending on what rules you are using, if you're using the basic rules, you will use this side of the car. There you go. And you will get the points for your car. There, as you can see, each symbol has a number next to it. What you'll do is you'll take pegs and you'll put those pegs into the corresponding number. There are different ways your car can take damage through the race, either by driving too close to other cars, by overshooting turns, by double shifting down and putting stress on your gearbox. And as each one of those happens, depending on what set of rules will happen, you'll either take damage as assigned by yourself, or you will take damage as assigned by a damage table. That's right, this game has a damage table. It's a racing game with the rules of a war game. So we looked at the simple option. That's if you're playing the simple rules. If you're playing the advanced rules, you'll play with the character side. And you see the car is made up differently. Each car is unique, and each character will have a special power. Now those special powers can be something that triggers every time a car drives past you, or it can be something that you can do once in the entire race. Just luck of the draw, I guess. So what will happen is all cars will start in first gear, because that is what cars do. There is no way to double shift up. You can only double shift down. As we all know, double shifting up would be slower, in fact. So your little gear stick will be on the left, and you'll start in first. What you'll do is you'll take the corresponding dice. Each one has a colour and different sides, and you will roll it. So in first gear, we can see here the yellow dice. We can get a 1 or a 2. We got a 1. We would go over here to our starting line. Get up there. There we go. Our starting line, and we would move our car 1. Then everyone else would have a turn. And at the start of our next turn, we would most likely shift up to second gear. And now we are rolling the orange dice, which has the sides 2 to 4 on it. Oh, and look at that, we got a 4. So we would move 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that there brings us to our first corner. Now the first corner, you can see this 1 here tells you how many times you have to stop in it or you take damage. The green number at the top tells you the longest path through. That will be 7 spaces. The red number at the bottom showing you the shortest path through, which would be 3 spaces. So we are on the outside. We haven't moved in, probably a poor choice. But what that means is there's very little risk to us, so we would probably shift up, get our third gear, which has us rolling the sides 4 to 8. Now if we get an 8, we're in a little bit of trouble, but everything else should be okay. We got an 8. So if we were playing on the basic rules, we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we would take some tyre damage for overshooting. If we were playing in the advanced rules, we would probably also take the tyre damage, but we could slam on our brakes and stop 1 spot early, and that would give us brake damage instead of tyre damage. You will continue to do this, travelling around the entire board. Let's have a look. It's a big board. Oh, there we go. Yep, up, down. Yep, whoop. And back along. Oh, yep, down. And back to the start. And then we would do that 3 times. And that is the rules. Oh, no. The most important rule. If 2 cars are next to each other like that, you roll the black dice. Now in the basic rules, it's, I believe, if you roll a 1 to 4. In the advanced rules, because all the cards have less damage available to take, it's a 1. So we roll it. Oh, it's a 15. We're safe. How anticlimactic. But both cards would have to roll it, the person getting the 1 having to take damage. And that is the rules for Formula D. Is it too late to say we're not doing 2 laps? Is it too late to just change it to 1 lap, or is that going to ruin someone's strategy? So here we go with the rating, and we fall into the problem with this game for the rules that we've seen in other games. First playthrough rules and full rules. The first playthrough rules are so boring. There are no powers, no interaction. It's just, and even the damage to the vehicles and the wear and tear on vehicles is pared right down to the simplest thing. It's just rolling a dice. And the box says 60 minutes. That's a lie. It's 120. Like if you're going to do 2 or 3 laps with more than one person. It's just, and it plays up to 10. What a nightmare. But yeah, if you play the basic rules, you're going to be there too long and you're not going to be doing anything. At least with the advanced rules, where if a car wipes out, there's a space left on the map that's going to damage you. One of the characters can decide the music's no good, so he throws his radio at a car near him. Like, at least there's some cool interaction there. But new players are never going to get to it, because they're going to play the first playthrough rules and they're just going to be like, where do I return this? Other than that, you know, the game is very rules independent. Once you know what the special moves do, everything can be played by just looking at the board, except when it comes to taking damage and stuff, you are going to have to check the reference sheets for that, because it's on like a... it's sort of like, if you overshoot a corner by 1 stop, it does this, but by 2 it does this, by 3 it does this, and it's just not a straight 1 for 1. But I'm always going to mark games down for first playthrough rules. So I'm going to say the rules for this are a 6. The artwork and components I think are really cool. I think it's so cool that you've got like little F1 cars if you're playing with just the boring F1 side, but then you've also got the little cards that match the player cards perfectly in there. So you got the minis are cool. Racing around on the track is cool. Like it looks like a racetrack. The cars look good on the track. The dice are dice. The little player boards are cool. Like everything's, you know, got little pegs in it. It's not like you can knock them. So I'm going to say the artwork and components here are a solid 9. The accessibility, like in my head I'm saying 4 right now because it's so long, and I think playing a long board game, and not just that, but a long, pretty boring board game with someone who doesn't play games is a really bad way to introduce them. But I'm going to say 5. I feel like 5 is more fair. And as far as gameplay goes, do I want to play it again anytime soon? I really don't. 3. So that gives us a final score of 5.75 out of 10, which is where I figured it would be, somewhere in that 5 to 6 mark. But see, Formula D is so beloved and talked about fondly by board gamers that I think I might be wrong about this one. And if you are a Formula D fanatic or a Formula D defender, without attacking me, just tell me what I've got wrong in the comments, so next time it comes out, I can give it another try and approach it from a different angle, open mind. Maybe I've played it wrong each time I've played it, or maybe I've played it with the wrong group. Convince me that I'm wrong.